morning, everybody. The message of the Beatitudes is a message of the kingdom of God has overcome the kingdom of this world. It will be a day of ultimate justice when the Father will heal the wounds of our heart and fill our hearts with immense joy. In today's gospel, Jesus lays out a value system he expects his followers to adopt. He is not pronouncing a blessing on poverty, nor is Jesus placing a curse on the rich, those with money, those who are popular, and those of great material wealth. Jesus knew how wealth and riches could encase a person in a hard shell of their own self-sufficiency, and how easily they would become lured into the false sense of security, thinking that the present abundance would assure them in future comfort. Jesus knew that wealth can change a person and their value system until they were no longer eager for the gifts of God, because their thinking is, we already have everything worth desiring. We no longer find joy in the blessings from God. Jesus knew the rich were apt to be preoccupied with their possessions, and they would fail to respond to God's invitation. Jesus gives us this value system for here on earth, and he expects us to adopt it. A value system is defined as a collection of principles and standards that form our behavior and guide our decision-making. Now, when the standards of this world guide us, we have great woe. But when we let God determine who we are greatly blessed. When we let our looks, our poverty, our hunger, our sadness, our lack of popularity be the final word about the meaning and significance of our life, we sink into hopelessness and despair. But when we let the kingdom of God have the final word about the meaning and the significance of our life, we will have true joy and know without a doubt that we are blessed by God. The Beatitudes are for everyone, since we are all created for happiness. The Beatitudes are a sure path to this happiness. Our task in life is to find the right way to integrate the Beatitudes into our lives and to live them out each day. The Beatitudes are a permanent path for each of us to follow, and they should summon us to receive and to show mercy. When we've been hurt or someone we love has been hurt or offended, we should forgive, but we may struggle with this process. We can turn to the Beatitudes and find help and encouragement to move us along the way to forgiveness, to mercy, and to peace. For those of us who are alone or afraid, the Beatitudes can steer us away from self-pity, from rash judgment, from selfishness, but instead allow us to focus on the needs of others and our neighbors, to generously open our hearts to others who are suffering, and to work diligently for light and goodness in their world. In married life, the Beatitudes should teach spouses how to show respect, to show compassion, to be self-serving, to be selflessness in service to the other person. This could mean helping to clean the house, helping with the laundry, helping with the young ones, getting them dressed for school, getting them done with their homework, helping with the meal. This could mean overlooking a remark or a comment, but yet giving back a compliment instead, and using words like please and thank you. The Beatitudes call us to speak with truth and love, to stand up for what is right, not only in the married life, but in everyone that we meet. In truth, we can see what is good and what is evil. When we accept the direction and seek to integrate the truth into our lives, we find greater order in our hearts. This is peace. This is a peace we were made for. This is a peace in which the Beatitudes direct us to. The Beatitudes commission us to be peacemakers, which is not easy at times, starting with our own families, our friends, and then moving on to major issues such as civil rights, immigration issues, environmental issues, the pro-life movement, human trafficking. We are called to teach and defend what is right and true, starting in our own homes, moving to our schools, and teaching our government leaders from time to time. The peacemakers are the ones who foster peace in their words and actions. They have the courage to stand up for what is right. They have submitted to God's will. The peacemakers cherish human dignity and the common good for all people. They can be distinguishable from right and wrong. They speak the truth even when it's inconvenient and are bold and generous in their service to others. These are not new rules of morality that Jesus is commanding us to follow. These are simple statements of how life is sometimes. Living in this world, we suffer and we are sometimes poor. Sometimes we are poor not materialistically, but we are poor in spirit. We have been cast aside from time to time. We have been humiliated. We have been shamed. We have been rejected. We are often hungry, not necessarily for food, but for peace and the reality of God's reign of justice and righteousness in this world. We often weep. We weep over the conditions of this world. We weep over our government leaders and their decisions. We weep over our own condition and the condition of our families as well. Simplicity of the heart is a quality of the poor, and we could enrich our lives by embracing it. When we learn the ability, we find happiness in oneself and the love of people rather than the love of luxury items or popularity. But this depends on a proper relationship with God and those around us. It is about laboring for goodness in ourselves so that we can be a greater good to others. It's about helping others to see the goodness in themselves and encouraging it to flourish. Remember, the Beatitudes will always be the answer. They are a source of help and an encouragement. God calls you and me to reorder the priorities that we have set in our own life this morning. We must spiritually help ourselves first, and then we're able to help others to bring tranquility and order into their lives. So, ask yourself this question. Is what I'm doing with my life right now drawing me closer to God, or keeping me from drawing closer to God and enjoying His peace, His love, and His mercy?